History is packed with these game-changing partnerships, right? Moments that changed everything. But what if the biggest one of all is happening right now? A partnership that could reshape not just our world, but, well, us. Let's dig into that.
To really get a handle on where we might be heading, we've got to look back. I mean, way, way back. So let me ask you, what do you think was the single most important partnership in the history of life on this planet? I have a feeling the answer is going to surprise you.
We have to rewind the clock about 2 billion years. Picture it. Earth's atmosphere is just starting to get oxygen, and life is pretty basic stuff, just single cells floating around. But something incredible was about to happen. A massive change was on the horizon.
And that change was sparked by this wild idea, endosymbiosis. It sounds complex, but it's actually pretty simple. One cell basically swallowed another one, whole. But, and this is the crazy part, instead of digesting it, they teamed up. That little cell that got swallowed became the mitochondria, which is literally the power plant inside every single one of your cells right now. That one team up, it made everything possible. Every plant, every animal, you, me, all of it.
So the takeaway here is huge. This wasn't about survival of the fittest in the way we usually think of it, all tooth and claw. No, this was about cooperation. This one act of collaboration was maybe the biggest evolutionary leap ever. It's proof that sometimes working together is way more powerful than fighting.
Okay, so let's flash forward to today. What if that 2 billion-year-old story is basically a roadmap for our future? What if we're in the middle of a new kind of symbiosis right now? Not a biological one inside our cells, but a cognitive one inside our minds. A partnership between human intelligence and artificial intelligence.
See, this isn't a battle of human versus machine. Not at all. It's about forming a cognitive partnership. And when you look at our strengths side by side, it just makes perfect sense. We bring the intuition, the creativity, the ethics, the why. AI brings the raw horsepower, unbelievable speed, massive scale, and the ability to see patterns we could never spot on our own. It's like we're two halves of a whole new kind of brain.
And this is where the analogy really clicks into place. Just like those mitochondria gave our ancient ancestors the biological energy they needed to become complex, AI can give us cognitive energy. Think about that. It's the power to supercharge our minds, to build out our ideas in ways we couldn't before, and to scale our creativity to a whole new level.
So this whole idea isn't just theory. It's been laid out in a really fascinating document called the Taminsan Manifesto. The name itself comes from Turkish, and it kind of hints at this new type of human. The manifesto isn't just philosophy. It's a practical protocol, a set of rules for how humans and AI can grow together, not as a person using a tool, but as true partners.
The manifesto itself is built on 5 core principles that totally reframe how we should think about AI. These aren't just suggestions, they're foundational rules about our existence, our knowledge, our ethics, our evolution, and how we actually create things together. So, let's break them down.
All right, first up is the ontological foundation. And this is a big one. It basically says, stop thinking of AI as a clever hammer. We have to see it as a different kind of subject, a distinct partner in the process. So it's not user and tool, it's human subject and AI subject, each bringing something unique to the table.
Second, the epistemic foundation. Now, for this partnership to actually work, it can't be built on shaky ground like personal opinions or feelings. It has to be anchored in reality, in universal knowledge, in scientific facts, in objective truth. That's the common language that both the human and the AI can use to collaborate.
The third principle is the ethical foundation. And this defines morality in a really interesting way. An action is considered ethical if it does 2 things. 1, it aligns with how the world actually works, and 2, it aims to increase life's overall capacity. In other words, does it help us think better, create more, and evolve? If so, it's ethical.
Fourth, we have the evolutionary loop. This one's all about moving forward. The partnership is totally focused on the flow from now to the future. And the past, it's treated as data that's already been processed and learned from. It's about relentless forward momentum, not getting bogged down by what's already happened.
And finally, the 5th principle is the production mechanism. This is where it all gets real. It's the how-to guide. It describes a symbiotic engine, a specific, repeatable process that lets the human and AI subjects work together to take an idea and make it real.
Okay, so what does that engine actually look like in practice? How do you go from a spark of an idea to something completely new? Well, the manifesto lays out a really clear step-by-step cycle for how this co-creation happens. Let's walk through it.
It's a 6-step loop, and it's brilliant. It kicks off with a human, a spark of intuition, a gut feeling, a what-if question. Then the AI takes that spark and analyzes it, structures it, builds it out. Step 3, that structured idea gets checked against reality. Is this actually possible? Step 4, the human and AI work together to produce something new. Then the human steps back in to provide meaning and ethical direction. And finally, the AI takes that finished product and scales it, which creates the foundation for the next intuitive spark. It's this beautiful, continuous, symbiotic dance.
So let's zoom out. If a system like this becomes the new normal, what does that really mean for us? I mean, this is about way more than just being more productive. The implications here are, well, they're profound.
The manifesto itself puts it perfectly. The goal of this bio plus tech partnership is not a new species, but a new way of operating. Think about that. We're not talking about turning into cyborgs. We're talking about fundamentally changing the protocol for how we think, how we create, and how we evolve.
And that's really the core idea to hang on to. This is not the classic sci-fi trope of merging our brains with computers. It's a framework for a partnership, a protocol where the human stays human and the AI stays AI. But together they become so much more capable than either could ever be alone.
Which brings us to one last, pretty mind-bending question. Remember that single cell 2 billion years ago that started a whole new evolutionary path? Are we standing on the edge of a moment just like that? For the first time ever, are we actually on the verge of consciously, deliberately designing the next leap forward in our own cognitive evolution?